Oh, hi there. My name is Prostetnik. Hey, you're back.
Back from what?
Last week. You weren't here last week. The Back in Action review?
What are you talking about?
Oh my god, last week. I did the review and you and the bear weren't there, on the couch.
Yes, we were.
What?
We were right here. We saw the whole thing.
Stop messing with me. I remember very distinctly that—
Should we do a flashback? Can we do a flashback? Is that allowed? Do it. Do the flashback. Okay, here goes.
Robin or Birdemic levels of bad. It's the kind of bad that you'll forget about immediately after watching.
Oh, you're so right. This movie is terrible. What?
My name is Jeff. What? No!
Oh, hi there. My name is Prostetnik Vogon Jeffs, and in this video, I'm talking about the Academy Award-winning comedy drama film Emilia Perez. No, I'm joking. Now, in this video, I'm talking about another movie that didn't deserve the Academy Awards it won. I'm talking about Anora. And hold on to your panties. Don't freak out just yet. There are caveats.
What?
Before we get knee-deep in a synopsis, let me say this. Anora is not a bad movie. It's not even close to terrible. It's just not great. Don't jump down my throat with,
but it won for Best Picture and Best Director and Academy Awards.
Stop it. First off, so did Shakespeare in Love and Titanic. The Academy Awards have never been a legitimate reflection of the industry at large. Which leads to my second point, that the Academy Awards are even more irrelevant than they ever have been. Ratings have dropped through the floor faster and harder than Superman beelining it for some subterranean poontang.
Dude.
What I'm trying to say is that none of it matters. The movie doesn't matter, the awards don't matter, this review doesn't matter.
Seriously? Did you take a black pill with breakfast this morning?
None of it matters.
What the hell has gotten into you? Snap out of it.
Oh, yes. Hey.
Mikey Madison is Anora Annie McKeeva, a stripper and, I guess I better be careful here. She's an adult dancer, and for the right price, a whore. Lady of the night. And BT dubs, if I can travel back in time and snag some slang from 10 years ago, this isn't going to be a super long recap, because despite a sizable runtime of over 2 hours, almost nothing happens in Anora. Well, plenty happens in Anora, if you know what I mean. But the movie itself is fairly bare bones. Here, I'll prove it to you. This is Act 1. Annie is introduced to Ivan.
Ну ты можешь назвать меня просто Ваня.
Vanya, okay.
Yeah.
He's the 21-year-old son of a Russian oligarch, and Annie happens to speak Russian.
I just prefer not to, but you can go ahead and speak Russian. I'll understand.
The two hit it off, and Annie invites Vanya to a private room. Afterwards, Vanya inquires about house calls, and Annie hands over her digits. Annie is invited over, and the two have adult fun time. And then Vanya tells Annie who his father is.
Google him.
It's being played up like his father is some sort of badass Russian gangster, but we learn literally nothing. More banging, video games and pot, more skin slapping. And then Vanya offers to buy up exclusive poking rights for a week, and Annie is all like,
Oh my god, he's so dreamy.
They run around town visiting Vanya's friends at a candy shop, having a party on a private jet, and gambling in Vegas. Oh, and did I mention all the banging? So Vanya says,
Will you marry me?
and Annie's all like,
Are you serious?
and more or less says yes, pending wedding ring approval. Cue the getting married and celebrating in Las Vegas montage. Feeling pretty proud of herself for bagging an oligarch's son, Annie quits her job. She even gives a rival dancer a parting gift. And then, okay, back to the montage, sure. I thought we were done with that, but okay. Oh, and right, of course, more humping, yep. Well, news of Vanya's antics have made their way back to Mother Russia. Have made their way back to his mother in Russia. Galina tasks Toros, Vanya's Armenian godfather, to rectify the situation, and Toros, preoccupied with a baptism in some capacity, tasks his henchman, Garnik, along with Igor the Russian, to find Vanya. They politely force their way into Vanya's mansion and make him present the marriage license. Toros freaks out and has to excuse himself from the baptism to call Galina and then head over to the mansion. He calls ahead to Garnik.
Put me on a f***ing speaker so this hooker can hear me too.
He just called me a hooker?
I mean, call me crazy, but isn't your relationship with Vanya based almost entirely on the coitus for cash business model? What am I missing here? Toros is pissed. He informs his godson that his parents are flying in and plan to meet tomorrow at noon.
Do you understand?
On his way to Vanya's mansion, Toros forcefully explains that he's going to take the newlyweds to get their marriage annulled before then. Freaked out by the impending arrival of his parents, Vanya loses his shit and runs away, leaving his new wife to fend for herself. Garnik slips on the driveway, and when Annie tries to run after her cowardly husband, Igor steps in to stop her, which leads to a lengthy fight scene between Annie and Igor, followed by Garnik getting drop-kicked in the face. Toros eventually shows up and calms the chaotic scene. He pleads with Annie to cooperate.
Okay, I need you to cooperate. I'm begging you.
He explains how everything belongs to Vanya's parents and threatens to have her arrested.
Trespassing, fraud, cheating, theft.
After using her wedding ring as an example of Vanya's commitment to her, Toros forcefully removes it and Annie gets a sudden craving for grapes! 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 Everybody calms down and Toros offers Annie $10,000 to get the marriage annulled. She agrees as long as she gets to talk to Vanya first. Everyone's happy. The gang heads out to find the missing husband. Hey, I don't mean to nitpick or anything, but I was wondering, Annie's real name was mentioned briefly at the beginning of the movie. So why doesn't anyone call her Anora? If her name is Anora...
Annie. It's Annie.
It says Anora.
I know, but I go by Annie.
Okay, fine. But that's 2 allusions so far. That's 2 explicit references in the dialogue about the main character's real but unused name and the title of the movie itself. The suspense is eking upward. I can't wait for the 3rd act resolution. Igor tries to make peace with Annie, and Garnik is in rough shape. The gang makes a quick pit stop so Igor can get Garnik some pills, and then it's off to the races. Annie and Toros question Vanya's friends at the candy store, but things get ugly, and Igor is ordered to smash the place up. No luck finding the lost lover. So they head out to harass another friend at a restaurant. It's also pretty cold outside, so Igor gives Annie the scarf they were using to gag her. Isn't it romantic? We're not going to do that, are we? Isn't it romantic? Nightclubs and pool halls and diners and... Oh, come on, man.
Oh my God, he's got me. Jesus.
It's triggering my gag. It's triggering my gag. The search continues late into the night. Annie and her captors take a break to grab some grub. Toros gets aggressive with the other diners when they refuse to answer his questions.
No work ethics. Lazy, stupid. I don't understand.
And Annie gets a text from a former coworker.
He's at HQ!
What?
Letting her know that Vanya is at her old club getting a rub down by that rival dancer from earlier in the movie. Yeah, that's the one. Annie and company burst into the club and confront Vanya. Annie tries to get through to her husband, but he is living on another planet.
These guys, they want us to get a divorce.
Absolutely blitzed out of his mind.
Vanya, this is not funny.
Completely wasted. He's dragged through the club with a gaggle of strippers in tow. Would it be a gaggle? A skulk? A clouder of horrors? All right, we'll deal with this in a future episode. Vanya is the walking dead, but somehow they manage to get him in front of a judge for an annulment. Annie takes the opportunity to speak her mind and throws the whole courtroom into chaos. It's too bad none of this matters because they got married in Vegas.
They got married in Nevada?
So everyone heads to the airport to meet up with Vanya's parents, Galina and Nikolai. Annie tries to introduce herself.
Galina Zaharova. Меня зовут Anora.
Whoa, look at that. She introduces herself as Anora, not Annie. Interesting.
Это такая часть женой Ивана.
But it doesn't go well.
Ivan is not your husband. And you are not part of this family.
Hold on, quick question. Is that a good Russian accent or a bad one? Felt like she was losing it at the end there. Doesn't matter. Off we go. Vanya finally sobers up and is instantly tired of the nagging. He gives Annie a reality check.
So we're getting a divorce.
Of course. Are you stupid?
He was using her. Duh. And let me try this one more time.
Your life and lives of your family and friends, everything will be destroyed.
Nope, still can't tell. The group heads to Vegas. The marriage is annulled. The cat claws come out.
You are a disgusting hooker.
Your son hates you so much he married one to piss you off.
And Cuck Nikolai is loving every minute of it. Igor then takes Annie back to New York and they bump uglies in his car. The end. Okay, there's a bit more to it than that. Igor looks up the meaning of Annie's real name. Finally, some closure.
Pomegranate fruit. Light.
I'm not.
What?
Pomegranate fruit.
What does he even say? I've listened to this multiple times.
Pomegranate fruit.
It's gotten to the point where it's like a word that you say over and over and over again until it loses its meaning. Meaning. I'm sure someone will point out what he's actually saying, and I'll feel like a dolt for missing something so obvious. But at this stage, all I can hear is bum brand fruit, over and over. Bum brand fruit. Igor drops Annie off at her place in the morning, and as mentioned previously, they get it on in his car. He tries to kiss her, and she loses her shit, and he comforts her. The end. Let's talk about the good and the bad of Anora. Tits. Listen, I could beat around the bush and pick something a bit more highbrow, but as a creator that depends on burps and farts for 90% of my humor, I think we all know full well that's not how I'm gonna roll. So yeah, about those yammers, there's a bunch of them. Enjoy. On a more serious note, the acting on display is good, if not great. Mikey Madison is compelling and fun to watch as the titular character. There I go again. One-track mind, what can I say? And I thought Karen Karagulian did a fantastic job as Toros. Likewise, the guys that played Igor and Garnick were well cast and entertaining to watch. Lastly, it's a beautiful movie, stylistically coherent and consistent, adept cinematography, decent costume design. From a visual point of view, it's a nice-looking film. Nothing overly adventurous or notable, but generally speaking, everything looked rather not quite awful. And now for the bad. Listen, I love TNA as much as the next guy. Maybe I'm becoming a prude in my old age. But yeah, about those yammers, there's a bunch of them. It's a little overwhelming. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but enough already with the f***ing.
No.
To me, this movie is a peanut butter and mustard sandwich. Some folks might hear that and say,
Hot damn, I love me some peanut butter and mustard sandwiches.
Maybe the better way of putting it is like this. I love Tarantino movies. I hate Jim Jarmusch movies. Anora feels like a Jim Jarmusch exercise in futility infused with Tarantino's slow build anticipation for plot developments. The number of times this movie could have spun off into something truly amazing are immeasurable, but it never did. It lacks focus.
Okay, but
There was an interesting story here, and it could have been developed into something a bit more than glorified softcore corn. But instead of delving into the story of Annie and her sister, or the story of her Russian past, we get a surface-level movie that's more interested in being shocking than in telling a deep and complex story. Okay, I know how this is going to go down, so let's just do it. Let's see those review scores. Yep. F*** you guys. I knew I was facing an uphill battle with this one, but this is ridiculous. Y'all really liked it this much? Is it me? I can't possibly be the only...
Yo.
No, wait. What do you...
You want to hear a poem?
Do I want... No, what are you doing here?
What?
You're supposed to be the younger version of me. Like if we do a flashback, it cuts to you. You're young me. We can't be in the same scene together.
That does not make any sense.
I'm prosthetic Vogon Jeffs. It's like Jelts, but it's Jeffs, right?
Yeah.
But I'm this skeleton character, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So it's like I'm a dead Vogon or something, right? And you're the younger, more alive version of me.
Uh-huh.
For the flashbacks.
You know how gay you sound right now?
Okay, we're done here.
I'm about to f you up. I've written a poem about the movie Anora. It puts me to sleep. It's kind of a bore, a letdown, a shame, a mediocre affair. Boo! Oh, go boo yourself. I don't even care.
I don't know what to make of Anora. It's not a terrible movie by any means, but it's also not amazing.
Okay.
For an indie flick, it gets my respect. A nothing budget and walking away with Best Film and Best Director? That's pretty impressive. It just suffers by being lumped in with other okay-ish movies and then elevated to GOAT status at an awards ceremony that is simultaneously culturally irrelevant and the de facto gauge for cinematic excellence. It's an okay movie. It's fine.
Okay, bye.
No, I don't like it. Something is off. Something definitely feels different.
It's probably because you forgot to include that third Bryan Singer joke.
Ah, damn it. I knew there was something.
You could do it now.
No.